So I finished watching WWE 24 Finn Balor, which details the recovery and rehab that Finn Balor went through after he suffered a labrum tear from SummerSlam. Okay, the first part of it is honestly pretty depressing since, it rivals that of what happens in the ring if you forgot the big moment you went through, like Miz winning his first main event. He has no recollection of that because he suffered a concussion. Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion, didn't remember his epic revolt against the Wyatt family when he turned, and now we got another depressing story where Finn Balor said that while he does remember the whole thing, the one thing he does remember feeling was just disappointment when he won the Universal Championship. And I could make a joke and say, it's probably because it's the Universal Belt and looks ugly as all hell and very lazy. But let's be serious here. But the fact that you worked so hard to get to the top, to win the world title or the super duper mega championship, and then you lose it because you suffered a labrum tear. And yeah, I thought for sure they were going to address the whole heat Seth Rollins got with the fans, saying, it's not his fault, it was an accident, he didn't mean to do it. Like Bret Hart was always accusing him of, Seth Rollins injures people and whatnot, he's too dangerous in the ring. And yeah. And he expressed disappointment how he felt like he let everybody down because it was supposed to lead to this long, glorious, prosperous reign that rumors have it that was going to end by Brock Lesnar. But when Goldberg came back, it looked like it would have ended by Goldberg, which would have sucked. So yeah, I think Finn Balor dodged a bullet because if he lost to Goldberg, they would have to turn him heel, and I don't feel like it would be right to turn him heel yet, unless it's doing Anderson and Gallows' club group. But yeah, it goes into his physical rehab, mental rehab, and even spiritual rehab, where he goes back to his roots, and we get into a little look into his life and what drove him to become a wrestler, his passion for it, and how he showed up at various wrestling events, and then showed up at certain key events that helped and made him who he was, and how he thanked them for all the hard work he's done in these various independent promotions. I wonder how Dunn felt. Okay. And yeah, I thought for sure they would go into a little bit of what could have been had Finn Balor not gotten hurt, like the plans they had in store for him. Like I always looked at WWE 24 as this out of universe perspective where we get a backstage look into the political stuff in WWE, like what was planned, what wasn't, as well as the personal lives. Like the WWE 24 is awesome, but I would have loved it more if we got some backstage insight about what was planned, what wasn't. Like they kind of alluded to it a bit in this episode, where they said that everyone's scrambling around, going crazy, don't know what to do after Finn Balor suffered the labrum tear. And we also see his bond with the NXT Click group: Kevin Owens, Neville, Sami Zayn. You can also say Hideo Itami, but Hideo was still injured at the time. It would have been interesting if he showed up on there. But yeah, for a while there was always word that there was a clique in NXT. I actually considered all of NXT to be part of Triple H's clique, and a smaller circle of it was more like Triple H's personal favorites. Balor, Neville, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, and Neville were rumored to be the top guys in NXT, and were given some personal favorites with Triple H because they were such good buddies with him, including Hideo Itami. But I think that ran its course when he got injured numerous times. So yeah, it was an experience to see for Finn Balor to finally rest down, realize what he's done for this business, how much fun he is. And we also got to look into his personal life. There's also a thing called My Son is an OJ Superstar. This first episode, I believe, was for Finn Balor, and they talked about that for a couple of seconds. And as we know, Finn Balor would return around sometime before WrestleMania, and he was cleared for WrestleMania, but WWE did not want him on the show. Okay, there are a couple of reasons why I think that, why they would do that. It's not because of Dunn, though of course someone can make the argument conspiracy that it was. But the other one is the fact the card was stacked. They had nothing for him at the time. They didn't have any feuds for him. Even though I could easily counter that and say, well, why not just have him get involved with Triple H and Samoa Joe? Like, how awesome would it have been to see Finn Balor get involved in the Seth Rollins Triple H match and see him help Seth Rollins, the guy who injured him, take out Samoa Joe while Seth Rollins finishes off Triple H. Like, that would have been awesome. In fact, they kind of were hinting that for a couple of weeks because he came back and he live event a 6-man tag team match with Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn to defeat Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and Triple H. So they could have done that. They looked like he were hinting to that, but no, they didn't do that. And it's a sense of tragedy when it comes to the wrestlers getting hurt, especially if they're from the independent scene. Like, if you're a homegrown talented guy or homegrown talent, you're pretty much safe unless you're like reach strike 20. But if you're from the indies, you get 1 or 3 strikes. Finn Balor suffered 2 strikes. One was the labrum tear, and the other one was a somewhat small concussion by the hands of Jinder Mahal. That's actually deeply concerning because there was word going around that if Finn Balor gets another injury, that's it. Like, it's done. Like, Vince McMahon will look at him and say he's injury prone. And then there's just nothing. There's no point in being in that company except for providing for yourself and also your family. I don't know. Like, they don't really talk about Finn Balor's love life. Okay. So I would have to assume he doesn't have a relationship right now. So he could go back to Japan. Like, if he gets one more injury in Vince's eyes, that's it. He's done. Like, he'll be in the main event stuff, but he won't carry the company. He's too injury prone. Like, look at Sasha Banks. Like, she held the title for a couple weeks, hurt her back, then lost to Charlotte, which I understood, and then they traded it back and forth like they didn't know what to do with the 2 characters in the belt. So they gave it back to Charlotte because Vince McMahon stepped in and said, "Oh well, Sasha's injury prone. We can't have her have a long reign because if she gets injured, then we're screwed." Yeah, they should really think about that problem. Like, it almost sounds like they should stop going into panic mode. Like, how many times did Mick Foley injure himself and was given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, yet still kept going? Despite his numerous injuries? Oh, wait, this is in 1999, so therefore that's invalid. And when... Okay, I know I went on a tangent there for a moment, but yeah. Finn Balor, when he came out to relinquish the Universal Championship belt, we actually cut to a scene to see Triple H actually crying. Like, yeah, I actually can understand that. Like, even though Finn Balor's from the Indies, Triple H kind of looked at him like one of his big projects. Like, he was looking at him as his greatest success right now. And then everything was torn from Finn Balor. I think Triple H felt a little bit of failure as well for himself because, well, he worked so hard with his kid, and it's taken away from him, so he feels like he failed as well. He failed Finn Balor. So that actually is kind of touching. So like I said, and also we got a little bit talk of the Bullet Club. They didn't go too much in depth with it. Like, I would have loved it if they went more in depth with it, but they didn't. We did see a funny image of Luke Gallows, also known at the time as Doc Gallows, sticking his tongue out and bobbing his head around, and that's actually kind of funny. If only they let him do that outlandish personality and badassery in the WWE, but we have to be restrictive as possible, so we can't let anything that's cool and innovating be in our product unless Vince says so. Well, he didn't create it, therefore we can't do it? Okay. And yeah, this was an enjoyable special. A little bit depressing when you learn that Finn Balor felt empty a little bit when he got injured. especially since you know, you achieved the big dream. And he also reassured himself at the end that even though he missed this WrestleMania, well, of course, it wasn't because of his injury. WWE had nothing for him. Um, okay, so yeah, maybe it was part of his injury, but it's the other part is the fact the car was stacked and they had nothing for him, even though they could have inserted him into the Triple H Seth Rollins feud if they added Samoa Joe in it. Like, I would have loved to see a tag team match between the two guys. So, yeah, Finn Balor shows himself that he'll be with the next 10 WrestleManias, and he's currently 35 years old, so yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I'll give it maybe 6. Okay? But, yeah, and also, speaking of Jinder Mahal, he injures somebody, he gets rewarded. And this isn't in the case of like, oh well, Seth Rollins is the top guy, but he accidentally injured somebody. He's a top guy, therefore he's safe. It was an accident. But Jinder Mahal, WWE would have punished him. But since they have this open market in India growing, we gotta protect him. He's safe. Isn't that gonna sound a little bit unfair? Like this, oh, this is the top guy. He's safe because he's the top star and it was an accident. Jinder Mahal, he did it, and yes, it was an accident, but, well, we can't punish him too because there's a market in India. Oh, Andre Cien Almas injured somebody? Punish him! This is a hypothetical speaking if Cien Almas actually did injure somebody by accident. So yeah, it'd be interesting if the club reunites now, but considering that Balor kind of got involved with Seth Rollins and Big Cass against the club, along with Samoa Joe, and there was no interaction whatsoever in terms of their past, yeah, I get the feeling WWE's going to think we're dumb again. So, this, like I said, WWE 24 continues this hot streak of great episodes. And especially not oversaturating it like they do they're producing 3 episodes right now. They finished one, they finished the second one. Like, they finished the first one, Finn Balor. Now they're gonna do Goldberg and Kurt Angle. I don't know which one comes first, but like I said, it's gonna be Goldberg and Kurt Angle soon. So that's gonna be pretty awesome, and I will cover that too. So this was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.